Hey everyone, Ascent Types in Mega Evolutions is coming out in around 2 weeks, and I'm really excited for it. It's a set that's introducing the Mega Evolution mechanic, which are three prize Pokemon, and I'm very excited for it. And today we're going to be taking a look at the metagame in Japan, breaking it down here, and this is going to be a very objective analysis of it, as opposed to some of my videos where they're more subjective, like tier lists and stuff like that. I guess there is a tier list here that we're going to take a look at, though. This is a tier list based on play rates, though, in Japan, and here is the most recent one. On here it says the 7th of September there. Um, and yeah, we have a few different tier lists we're going to take a look at here, and just kind of talk about the metagame and what's good and what's not as good here. Here it's like there aren't as many decks here. Some of these might be more limited sample sizes as well. But as we take a look at the meta in Japan here, it's not that different, right? We see the S tier decks here are and we can see their play rates are actually pretty high as well. They're all over 10% here, which is pretty high looking at like standard right now. Um, if we look online here, there are not many. Yeah, so Goldengo is the only deck above 10%. If we combine it, Goldengo and Dragapult are. Gardevoir is pretty close as well. But yeah, in Japan, again, there are. I'd say this is like somewhat limited tournament data, so it could be a little skewed. But the S tier decks are, they're pretty much what you'd expect here. You can see Dragapult. This is Dragapult pretty much the way that it is in current standard without the Mega Evolution cards. The only main difference here is the new supporter card, which is Lily's Determination. Lily's Determination is a very powerful supporter card, and it says that you shuffle your hand into your deck, then draw 6 cards. And then if you have exactly 6 prize cards remaining, then you shuffle draw 8 instead. Shuffle draw 6 is good. It's not like crazy broken, but it's pretty good. I mean, it's pretty similar to Iono, which is a strong draw supporter at the beginning of the game. And then at the beginning of the game, it's actually stronger than Iono. It's shuffle draw 8. So it's probably the best draw supporter in the game. The only other draw supporter that's arguably as strong is Professor's Research, and I guess also Iono. Iono is very good as a supporter. In my opinion, it's actually the strongest card in the game, outside of maybe Lily's Determination, and also maybe Boss's Orders. And it's very good, but it's good because it also has Disruption there. Lily's Determination is going to be a strong supporter throughout the entire game and very strong at the beginning of the game for helping you set up. So, we're going to see it in a lot of these decks here. And Dragapult, it is pretty good here. Oh, we can zoom in a little bit on these pictures, but again, nothing too crazy here. Pretty similar things to go to what you'd see in the current standard format. So nothing crazy. Dragapult's still good. We'll talk about Gardevoir. Gardevoir has gotten some new pieces. The pieces are very nice for it, but they haven't put it over the edge to be like completely and truly broken. As we kind of look at the development of the meta here, it kind of started with we saw like Gardevoir at the top, and we saw some different megas as we kind of look through this. And they've kind of gone away because they're not bad decks, but they're also decks here that are they're more fun new decks and not like as crazy powerful, but they are still really nice here. And then as I said, Dragapult, it's Dragapult doing Dragapult things. We got Dusknoir, we got Munkidori with Luminous and things like that. Then we see the next deck here, which is Gholdengo EX. Gholdengo EX still in that high tier. Gholdengo is a deck that is very strong in current standard. It's like probably the best deck in the game. I will mention here there is this Psyduck. I still don't know when this card's coming out. I don't know if it's in Mega Evolution, but anyways, it's a card that like kind of counters Dusknoir here. It is a meaningful card, but ultimately Gholdengo is playing Gholdengo EX, and with the new Genesect EX from White Flare, I think, as well as Air Balloon. These cards have really, really helped out Gholdengo EX. Gholdengo EX is not a new deck at all. We do see an interesting addition here of, in at least, yeah, just one of these. Oh, there's 4 different, like, very different lists here. That's not Gholdengo. We do see Metal Defender, which reduces the damage you take by 30, your Metal Pokemon. So that's, like, kind of cool there, but ultimately nothing truly huge in terms of additions to the deck. As I said, Liz Determination is the main new card, but it's not, like, necessarily what you're looking for in Gholdengo, right? Gholdengo, you're kind of accumulating your hand, so a card that shuffle draw, discard draw, something like that, isn't going to be as strong as it would be in, most other decks here. And yeah, nothing too crazy. As I said, we do see some builds with Togekiss, and like Munkidori and stuff, and different tech options. Then we do see a Gholdengo EX list with the the like Joltik Vox package with like Iron Hands and stuff like that for different situations. There's playing a little differently. I'm not super familiar with that deck. I'm not gonna lie. I'm much more familiar with regular Goldengo, but there's a lot of similar ideas here. Obviously, you're not playing Energy Search Pro, and there are differences here. You're kind of like leaning into a different early game. But it is still Goldengo. Goldengo is still very strong. Taking one shots and megas are a part of the metagame. They're not a huge part of the metagame, but taking one shots on them is nice, though it is harder because they have more HP here. Then we have the next deck here, which is going to be Marnie's. Yeah, this is auto-translated. It's not Marnie's Orbital. It is Marnie's Grimstyle. Marnie's Grimstyle EX isn't playing too many new cards. Is the Yveltal new? Yeah, I guess so. The Yveltal here is a new card, which like stops your opponent from retreating. I think it's kind of a replacement for Maractus here. And then we see pretty much the same stuff, right? We do see the Psyduck, but the Psyduck, again, isn't necessarily something that's coming out. And then we do see Lily's Determination here as well. Again, most of the things are pretty similar to what you'd see looking at their list here. We do see Maractus still here with its like potentially good ability and like different typing and stuff. And then of course still Lily's. We have 4 lists here. And yeah, nothing too out of the ordinary here. It is still Marnie's. It has the strong consistency and good ability, and the good stadium for that consistency there. And like Monkey Dory and Frostlass and stuff for some extra damage. And TM Devolution is still an important part of that deck, meaning that if your opponent is playing Megas, you can like devolve them to not have to worry about their high HP as much potentially. But on top of that, against Gardevoir, you are hitting them for weakness, so that's very good. Especially Mega Gardevoir, you are still one-shotting them. Pretty easily there, right? So it's going to be very strong, just in general. And yeah, Marnie's is still good. Personally, I'm not the biggest fan of Marnie's, but it's just like a solid, consistent deck here. It's still quite good. Then we have Raging Bolt here. Raging Bolt, kind of similar stuff to Goldengo, going for big one shots. Also, like not really changing that much. I don't know if there are any new cards in any of these lists. We just see Mega Kangaskhan EX, which is a like nice little draw support piece and potential attacking option. And yeah, it looks like that's the only support or new card there, which is it's an okay card. It's, as I said, some extra draw could be useful. Is it crazy? No, and it could be a liability being a 3-prizer there as well. But it is still a pretty like solid card within the deck, and I think the most universal of the megas as well, which is kind of interesting here. But anyways, this deck is still strong. The meta isn't changing too much. And I know some people are kind of hoping for big changes. Some people are scared of big changes and expecting big changes. And I'm saying, it's not going to be anything crazy. There will be some changes to the metagame, but nothing, as I said, nothing too crazy here. Then we're going on to the next deck. This is Gardevoir. Now, Gardevoir EX, can be playing Mega Gardevoir EX, but it's not playing it. Like in this list here, we don't see Mega Gardevoir EX. We don't even see the new stadium either. Mystery Garden is nice. But it's like, I guess, not required. It's not like the most reliable card. You could be playing stuff like Jellicent EX. Oh, what? This is playing the Doom Mega Dancy. So we can ignore that. That's actually not coming out yet. That's coming out later internationally. I'll talk about that in a sec, or in a future video. Mega Dancy EX and Mega Gengar EX, but those are different. They're not out yet. Or will not be out yet immediately. But then we do see the new Ralts. We don't even see the new Ralts there, which to me like seems really surprising. But we do see the new Kirlia. There's some like small little additions, but they're not huge. Overall, Gardevoir does get a little bit better. But the pieces, specifically Mega Gardevoir EX, aren't like absurd for the deck. They do offer more value, but it's a good deck. It's been a good deck, and it's not changing too much. Despite the fact that it does have nice upgrades, it's not like it's like reliant on those, and it can still be very good without them. And it's simpler that way as well, right? So Gardevoir EX still a very good deck here. And it's good. It's not like I was expecting it to be super broken with a new set. I still am kind of thinking that, but based on plays in Japan, it has not been that way. People in Japan were originally like doing that. Then it's kind of backed off there. Then moving to the quote next tier here, we do see Charizard. It's Charizard, right? What are you expecting? Just like most of these other decks, it's pretty much the same, except for Lily's Determination and then the Psyduck, which again, Psyduck, but you have the Lily's Determination for draw. It's very good, kind of like in Dragapult. It's going to be good for helping you set up and for helping you throughout the course of the game. It's just a very good card here. So Not too much to overthink here. You have Pidgeot as well if you need certain cards. And so that's like part of your engine as well as Serendipity EX, then Lili's Determination, and that's going to be like a lot of what you need. You obviously have Arven as well, a very good turn one for like Team Evolution, and then you have Iono as well. But Lily's is going to be helping out the deck a little bit here. You hit weakness on Gardevoir. It's again pretty similar to standard right now. Then we have the only new deck here. And this deck is a deck that is it's pretty cool here with it, the new fighting editions. It's Mega Lucario EX. Mega Lucario EX is a really interesting, or a moderately interesting new Pokemon here, which is able to do for 1 fighting 130 and then accelerate fighting to your Pokemon, and then you do 270 for 2 and can attack back to back. The attacks are fine enough. Not going to spend too much time on them though. There's a Hariyama which can gust and also has some decent attack, or has a decent attack. You have Luto and Solvok for some engine support, some draw support, as well as like situational attacker there. You do have this like single prize Lucario, then you have Fighting Gong and Premium Power Pro. The Fighting Gong item is an item that's going to help you set up here by searching out your basic fighting Pokemon or basic fighting energy, which is really good. Then you have Premium Power Pro here, which increases the damage you're doing with your fighting Pokemon. Again, very, very solid. Nothing absurd, I guess, but Premium Power Pro and Fighting Young are really what are bringing this deck out to be very strong, or like pretty good. Very strong for these new decks. As I said, most of them are kind of meh. Then you do Lily's Determination. Then we have Charizard Dragapult here, still being played a little bit. We have Cynthia's, same stuff that I said about the fighting support for Lucario, they're a little less, and there's some other like grass stuff, which is like kind of useful, but not super meaningful here. We have Ceruledge, which paired with the Lunatone and Solvok can be used for some draw to like be a little faster, but nothing crazy there. We got Ends, it's Enzor, we see Enstar Mantan here, as well as Enstar Reshiram. Then we see Joltik Box here. Again, it's Joltik Box. Nothing crazy going on with that. We do have our Caledon EX paired with the new Mega Mawile EX. Mega Mawile EX is a decent attacking option, though it's not like crazy. It's a fine little secondary attacker there, but it is like a weak 3-prizer, and in terms of HP. And then you do see Iron Defender to reduce the damage you take, and we see the Stadium to get some extra damage on your Pokemon as well as your opponent's Pokemon. Your opponent's Pokemon, obviously, that's good. And then your Pokemon, you got Munkidori there. Then we have Mega Manectric EX with Magneton. I will say Psyduck counters Magneton. However, as I said, I don't think Psyduck's coming out yet, so you could probably navigate around that. But anyways, Mega Manectric has some different options. It can wall basics, but notably it's like a pretty solid attacking option. However, it is a 3-prizer, so there are some risks there. But yeah, pretty straightforward deck here. And just attack with Mega Manectric to do damage, kind of like Mega Lucario. I'd say there's a little bit more going on with that, but there's still stuff going on here. You got like you got Lightning Box stuff as well, which we've seen Lightning Box. Then we have Mega Venusaur, which is like a tanky Healy deck, which can do pretty solid damage here. Definitely an interesting deck, but it's like pretty sketchy in my opinion as well in terms of getting set up, and I think that's what we've kind of seen in Japan as well. So I'm not going to talk about it too much. Then we got Ethan's. It's Ethan's. It's okay, I guess. And then we have the Evolution Flareon box, whatever. Yeah, it's all right. It's solid. Gholdengo's still good, so you can hit that for weakness, but it's nothing absurd. You got Blaziken apparently. Yeah, you get an Accelerate Energy and do Blaziken stuff. We got Poison as well here. And yeah, that's about it. Obviously, most of those decks near the end of the video were like rogue decks, but the meta is still very similar to what we see in standard, with the biggest outlier, I guess, being the fighting stuff, which is really interesting. But tell me down below in the comment section what your thoughts are on the metagame, if you're excited for it, if you're not so excited for it. But let me know down below there. But I hope you enjoyed. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit the bell, all the good stuff. And as always, I'm excited to see you in the next video.